This is the best fucking interview ever, okay?
Hey, what's up, guys? I know I'm gonna piss a lot of people off with this one, but when you put a fish in water, is it considered wet or is it dry?
It is not wet. And not until you take the fish out and expose to air, now it is wet. But if you are surrounded by water, you're not wet. Water is wet! If you're not water, you're wet!
My name is Remy. What's your name?
Natalie.
What's your name?
Demaya.
Who do I have the pleasure of speaking with?
Reese Wilson.
We have Reese Wilson, and I am Denzel Washington. Picture this. When you put a water... Alright, picture this.
Okay.
When you put a fish in water, is it wet or is it considered dry?
Oh, I saw this question online.
There's been a lot of controversy on Twitter. You use Twitter?
Sometimes.
There's a lot of speculation to this question I'm about to ask you. Is water wet?
Fuck yeah. Like, it's almost like asking if you scratch an itch or itch a scratch.
Okay, let's say you had a fish,
Yeah.
right? It's just a dangling goldfish, and you drop it in water. Is that goldfish, the goldfish, is it considered wet or is it dry while in water?
That fish is dry because it came from being dry. It's being wet.
It's not wet. It's not wet.
So the fish is dry?
The fish is not wet.
So it's dry.
No.
It's only one or the other.
No, the fish is not wet.
So when a fish is swimming through water, it's not wet?
No,
How?
it's not wet. It's just not wet.
It is not wet. Because is the fish wet or is the water wet? Which one? What are you saying?
Okay, okay.
'Cause
Wait here. You said, okay, what's not wet? The fish is not wet?
the water is not wet. Water isn't wet. Water makes things wet. The fish gets wet though.
I don't know. I don't know.
The fish is wet. That is the habitat. It's natural habitat. It automatically will be wet once it goes into the water. I would not consider that being dry.
Okay,
No.
so let me ask you the same question. If you put a human being in water, is the same circumstance, does the same thing you just said apply?
Yeah. I mean, no, it's even though it's natural habitat, the fact that it's water, period, anything going in water becomes wet at all times.
He's dry because that's his habitat. You're dropping this man in some water. That's fresh air to us. Remember the episode of
Okay, go ahead. Remember the what?
the episode of SpongeBob where like they went upland and it was just like them drowning.
Let me get this straight. Your reasoning behind the fish being dry in water is based off of SpongeBob.
Right. No,
I'm just
like,
Doesn't matter whether it's a fish or not. You could have told me I have a piece of bologna.
Okay.
It is outside of water.
Right.
It is now being placed into water.
Okay.
It is dry being wet. If it is fully submerged, it is wet. If you take it out of the water, it is wet.
If we were in the water, we would be wet.
What? Okay, wait. If humans were in the water, we would be wet, but
If we
fish
were
are
in the water, we would be wet because
Okay.
we don't live in water. We live on land. Since the fish are in the water and this is their natural habitat, they are not wet.
What is this argument anyway?
Okay, so the consensus is when you take the fish out of the water, it's wet. That's
Yes.
when you put it back in,
It's immersed in wetness, but it
It's
is not wet because wet depends on the environment
Yeah.
that something is in already.
that's true.
So you wouldn't call it wet.
Let's say you take the fish out of the water and it's in the air. What is it, wet now or is it dry?
It will become dry, but its glands hold in water. It stores the water. If the water is no longer there, it becomes dry and
That's
the
true.
freaking fish dies. So yes, it's still wet up until it's dead. Yes.
Water is
like
wet.
saying is air dry, right?
Air is dry sometimes.
Yeah.
It depends on where you live, though. It might
What
be
about
or it's
humidity?
hella dry. Then humidity make it wet.
But that's not air. Wait, the
Whoa.
air is still
That's
the
like-
air.
Whoa. At first it started out dry.
I'm not gonna be able to sleep tonight, Remy. Fuck.
Yeah,
You made something very simple in my life, very trippy. We don't
I'm
need
so
this
sorry.
today.
I
We don't
know.
need this in 2017.
You see that?
Yeah, there's.
This is called
I get it.
This
You
is
can
called
see it
yin.
through your sweatshirt.
This is called
You
yang.
can't- Oh, it's there.
That has torque. That's
I don't know
torque.
if torque is the appropriate word.
I don't either.
Drop 600 on the whip.
Yo, nigga coming out of 6, nigga. Grandma kicked the nigga out the crib. Now where the fuck am I supposed to live, nigga? Oh God, help a nigga get it how I live. Cause I was in the kitchen with the whip, nigga.
We'll talk about that later.
Okay,
not on camera.
sorry.
Not
Don't
on camera.
reveal that. Yeah.
No. You can,
Or at
but
all.
like
Okay.
maybe just privacy. Just.
Got it.
All right. So.
Your social security number is.
So it's wet here. When the fish is inside the water, is it still wet or is it dry?
Yes, it's wet.
When we are in water, we are wet because we don't live in water. We are wet.
Okay. Let me ask you this though. You take the fish out of the water. Is it still wet or is it dry?
Once you take the fish out of the water, the fish is wet because it's no longer in its habitat.
All right. Yeah. Go.
yeah, he got it.
Anything else you would like to say to the camera? Shout out.
Denzel Washington, he's a great videographer, interviewer. Put him on. He's really special. He's going to go really far. Check out his YouTube channel
at 301 Rem Dog all day. You feel me?
all day. Okay? Have a good one.